Well, we received a call at around 10:30 of a structure fire at this location. Upon arrival, initial crews found a large amount of heavy black smoke coming from the structure. At that time, we called for mutual aid resources and increased our alarm levels to make sure we had enough resources to do that. Crews were able to get a pretty good handle on the fire fairly well. However, due to the building construction and some of the confined spaces that the fire is stuck in, it took a long time to get to where we are now.
There was a big talk about potential chemical releases in the smoke. Is there anything you could comment on about that and how your department, along with many others in mutual aid, were able to mitigate any sort of issue with gases, ammonia, et cetera, that many folks in Hastings were alerted about one night ago?
Yep. So we did have some ammonia releasing when we got here. We notified the Dakota County Special Operations Team for their hazmat capabilities. They came out, did some monitoring, and isolated some valves and stopped any release that we had. Then they also went around to the neighborhoods and checked some neighboring businesses and checked for levels of ammonia and other contaminants. They didn't find anything. Certainly the residents on the west side of 61 had some smoke smells and things like that. They were advised to shelter in place, shut off their air conditioners, shut their windows, doors, those types of things, and stay as they tolerated. If they couldn't tolerate it, they were asked to move on. But fortunately, the hazmat team was able to mitigate and make sure that those things were safe.
Where did it seem the fire started, Chief? And it seemed like you guys were on the offensive for quite the evening, especially along 17th Street here, kind of pushing away from whatever those tanks are. I don't even know what those contain, but it seemed like you guys were on the offensive. Talk about the attack on the fire. The flames were visible from the street. Kind of talk about how you were able to attack it, where it was in the building, and when you were able to actually extinguish it.
Well, because of the potential for collapse and eventual collapse of the ceiling, we were in a defensive mode. It may have looked to someone watching as offensive because we're very busy doing that, but it's what we would call a defensive mode, which means we're not putting anybody inside the structure. We're using master streams from ladders and larger streams through the different access ways and trying to get a handle on it that way to keep our staff safe.
What about the mutual aid response? Absolutely phenomenal from all over the area. If you could throw a shout out to some of them for what they were able to do with you guys, I think that's what made the night last night, was seeing so many people from around the area band together and get this taken care of.
Yeah, we had 10 or more. I have to go through the list. I haven't gone through the list. We're still working on the scene here, so I haven't really had time to sort it out, but at least 10 other departments here, along with all of our neighboring fire departments and some a little further away than we normally pull from. Some of those units were here all night long and worked through a number of shifts and did a lot of great work for this community and helped us out as we would do for them if they called us. So we were pretty fortunate to have that. We also had an ambulance standby, 2 ambulances from Allina Ambulance. They provided on-scene care for our staff in a rehab area, then also had another ambulance from Allina and an ambulance from mHealth covering our community while we were here. So it was quite a few resources along with PD, Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, State Fire Marshal's Office, so we've had a large number of agencies at this event, and we're thankful for all of them.
Before we let you get back to work, Chief, the cause. Everybody's asking what would the cause be, hypothesizing, things like that. We're not about that. I'm going to ask you right from the horse's mouth, when will we know about a cause, the investigation? Kind of give us a little bit of a kind of a thought process and how that's going to work.
Well, the investigation team's working on that right now, and they'll get a cause to us when they're ready.
Yeah, thanks, Chief.
And as far as nobody was injured, any injuries from last night?
No injuries.
Perfect. Everybody made it out safe. What's the process now? Like, when we're on the scene, and what are you working on now, and what's the rest of the day look like for you guys?
Right now, the investigators are looking at some spots in the scene. Then we will start working on making sure all the hot spots are out, and we'll do what we need to do that. And then from there, it's just a matter of making the space safe while the building owner and owners of the place work through getting it taken care of.